Alright, so today is February 17th, 2026. So let's look at where we're at with ES. So Friday we had a nice sell-off which swept through value for this session, the fifth, almost got to value area low but bounced at the quarterly pivot, and we ended up closing kind of in the almost in the middle of the range, leaving a poor high. That means that these two periods, the high was at least less than 2 ticks away from each other. So this high is a poor high, so we want to just keep that marked in our charts because we're probably gonna revisit it at some point. We also have this single print here from this session when we sold off, so this is a big area of interest. And we have the 20-day point of control, which is still up here at 69.64. So we still have value higher. We are attempting to shift it lower. You see how we're putting some volume here at 68.50, and also the 365-day point of control is up here at 69.45. So these two are pretty similar in volume, but this is where most of the volume is. Attempting to shift it down here. So now overnight, so this is the holiday session. Usually the holiday session, I look at these sessions as part of the overnight session usually, because they're short sessions, not a lot of participations, equities are closed, so I just like to look at it as part of the overnight session. It makes it less confusing for me, at least. But that's just a personal preference. No, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody doing that, but I usually do that anyway. So because of that, I'm gonna be looking at value area from Friday and not from yesterday, right? So I'm looking at value area low at 68.35. So accepting above that then triggers the value area rule, which says that we should test value area high, which for Friday was at 68.76, right up here. So looking for that if we accept inside Friday's value. The settlement from Friday is at 68.50. And also we have the daily pivot, which is at 68.52. So there's going to be some resistance here in this area. So it could be that we just close that gap to settlement and then we find sellers. So it's not necessarily that I'm expecting that value area to be swept all the way, but there's a high probability of that, and I'm gonna be watching this area for sellers. If I see that we start selling from there and we get back below 35, then that trade is invalid, and probably are gonna be looking for more shorts into the lows from the overnight and last week, which are very close to each other. And then from there, if we get below this area, from last week we had that a bearish imbalance, and the target was, I mentioned it was 67.73. So I'm going to be looking at that as the first target to the downside if we start selling. Not the first target, but the first area where I would expect either a bounce or a pause. And then from there we have an overnight session that overnight low that hasn't been tested during RTH at 67.51.50. So that's the next target. There's a little bit of a low volume area right here. So if we get to here, I'm probably going to expect a little bit of pause here too. See if we bounce here. If not, we have all this. 67.30 is a high volume node, and then here is where I would expect more of a stronger support. Not only because of this volume or low volume node, but we also have some buy imbalances from back a few months ago, and the 6700 strike on SPX is likely to be supportive, which should be around this area. Yeah, right here. Now, on the more bullish side, if we do that value area sweep and test value area high from Friday, then from here I'm going to be looking to see if we get above it and see if we test this, we clean up this poor high from Friday, and then because we have the single prints, I'm expecting to see some selling here. But if we get above it and we start filling those single prints, we could see a little bit of a squeeze into this 69.64. It's not my most likely scenario, but if we do get inside the single prints, we can see some squeezing, because there's obviously a lot of traders that got short in this move, and then added to that on Friday and overnight we have a lot of short, a lot of shorts probably being positioned for the next few weeks. So that's a possibility, short squeeze. Let's see, we have, I'm not gonna go over specific details for Nasdaq, but the structure is very similar. We do have those single prints. Also, the high is not very strong, it's a weak high from Friday. We have the 200 moving average here around the 24,000 area, so that's, if we start getting below this weekly low, then I'm gonna be looking for this area. This actually is not the previous week low. I have marked it. I marked it wrong. This is a weekly low, but from not last week, the week before. Last week's low for NQ, we just tested it. It was Friday's low. Okay, silver is moved the 20-day point of control at 76, so that's a little bit of a magnet now. We're still consolidating around here, still kind of weak compared to what it was a few weeks ago. Gold, the same thing. It was holding around the 5,000 area. Now we just moved the 20-day point of control at 49.40, and looks like that's becoming the next area, the next magnet. We did test below the Friday's low, but are back into this range. So I think that 49.40 is the magnet, and if we get above 5,000, hold above 5,000, 50.80 is the next area to watch on the upside. Well, let's see, crude. What's up with crude? Where are you, crude? Right here. So crude, same, nothing changed. 62.80 still the 20-day point of control. All the moving averages are here. The 200, the 21, the 20. That shows us that we are pretty much not moving much. We're in the same range for a while, and we have some resistance at 66, some support here with all these moving averages. If this breaks, we have the yearly VWAP at 6160 and the 365 day point of control at 61. What is it? 61. So this area should hold the 61 area. Now we have some stuff going on with Iran, so oil was just moving this morning, so it's gonna be dependent on those headlines too. All right, this week we have VIX expiration and we have OPEX options expiration on Friday, VIX expiration on Thursday. So that should cause some moves. Also, seasonally speaking, we are starting a period where we should see a pullback into mid-March. So keeping that in mind. We have big ranges, volatility is still high, and we have also FOMC this week. We have jobless claims. And we have PCI on Friday, so plenty of headlines and plenty of reasons to still have big ranges this week. So let's see what happens with all this VIX expiration, OPEX. So make sure that if you are day trading, to size accordingly and to protect your profits when you have them. Good luck.